You've now seen all three diagnostics: COGS, sales and marketing, and G&A. Three separate fixed plans, three separate timelines, but here's the question nobody asks. Do you actually run them one at a time? The logical assumption is yes, fix your pricing first, then fix your sales funnel, then fix your overhead, one at a time. In sequence, each one complete before the next one starts. That's how the diagnostic runs. So that must be how execution works. It's not. The diagnostic takes three steps. The execution, one. Everything that can move starts moving at the same time. The reason is simple. Businesses don't have 18 to 36 months to fix things sequentially. Cash is burning, revenue is flat, the owner needs to see movement fast. Waiting until COGS is done before touching the other lanes costs you a year you can't afford to lose. We run the 60-15-15 operating system across service-based businesses doing 2 to 20 million in revenue. The execution model is the same every single time. I'm going to show you exactly why the diagnostic order is locked. It can't change, and then show you the parallel execution timeline that runs all three fixed plans simultaneously. There's a specific reason the founder has already started making money back before the sales and marketing diagnostic is even finished. Why does the COG diagnostic run COGS first, then sales and marketing, then general and administrative? And why can't you change that order? Because each step's output becomes the next step's input. It's a dependency chain. If you start in the wrong place, the numbers you're building on aren't reliable yet. Here's what I mean. The COGS diagnostic tells you whether you're priced right. If your close rate stays underpriced by 2 to 3 times, that pricing fix is going to grow revenue by 40 to 70% from pricing alone without adding a single new customer. That revenue growth changes every other number in the business. Now, look at what happens if you skipped cost of goods sold and start with sales and marketing. You're diagnosing your marketing spend, your cost per acquisition, your lifetime value to customer acquisition cost, all based on the current revenue. Then a pricing fix lands 3 months later and revenue jumps 50%. Every sales and marketing metric you calculated is now wrong. Your customer acquisition cost payback period halved overnight because the revenue per customer doubled. You diagnosed a healthy patient with the wrong blood pressure reading. And it's not just the ratios. If you spent 3 months building a sales and marketing optimization plan around $5 million in revenue, targeting specific channels, setting budgets based on current customer acquisition costs, projecting lifetime value based on current pricing, and then revenue jumps to $7.5 million from a pricing fix, your entire plan is built on the wrong assumption. The channels that looked expensive at 5 million might be efficient at 7.5. The funnel metrics that looked broken are now in a completely different context. You'd have to redo the entire diagnostic. 3 months of work discarded because you started in the wrong place. Or you scale sales and marketing and you scale chaos. It creates a compounding effect where you grow revenue and your profits shrink. We need to make sure that we're looking at delivery first before we add fuel to the fire, or we're just going to scale a problem, not a profitable business. Same thing with general administrative. The G&A model depends on knowing your growth rate, because growth does 75% of the G&A improvement. Where does that growth come from? It comes from COGS, your pricing, and sales and marketing efficiency. If you don't know your pricing position and your labor efficiency rates or your funnel health, your general administrative growth projections are guesswork. It's like throwing spaghetti at a wall. You'll either cut too deep because you underestimated growth, or cut too little because you overestimated. That's why the order is locked. COGS first because it has the widest impact on the business. One pricing fix can improve all three numbers simultaneously. Sales and marketing second because it validates whether the growth engine is real. General administrative third because the entire model depends on that growth trajectory from the first two. Diagnose like a doctor, one thing at a time in the right order, because each test depends on the one before it. But here's the part that changes everything. The execution doesn't follow the same rules, because while you're diagnosing in sequence, you're already fixing in parallel. I work with a lot of CEOs and founders, and working with them consistently, everything that needs to move moves. The diagnostic runs in sequence to find where we can move. The execution runs in parallel, and the gap between those two is where speed comes from. Speed is king. Here's what month 1 actually looks like. The COGS diagnostic is complete. You know your close rate, you know where you sit on the pricing bands. The pricing increase starts immediately. New clients get the new pricing starting this week. Existing clients get notified with with 60 to 90-day runway before their renewal increase. This is the biggest single lever in the entire system. Revenue starts moving within 30 days. Now, sometimes the business owner is uncomfortable with making large changes. So what we need to do is we make a start. Because when I'm coming in and you're at 70% and I'm like, Aaron, you need to raise your prices 300%. The first thing any business owner is going to say is you need your head rate. So what we do is we do it at small increments and we slowly bring it up over time, week over week, and we watch close rate like a hawk so people don't snap back into old behaviors. We work with the CEO's mindset in mind. It is very, very important that we stagger this, and if you're doing it by yourself, that you stagger this out and you build a plan, you watch your close rate, you make sure that if you've got a 60-day sales cycle, you watch 60 days. So what we implement today, what happens in 60 days? Because then you can see where your close rate is. You do it to 10, then do it to another 10 as you increase price, and another 10, and you're able to slowly but surely see what's happening. At the same time, not after, the sales and marketing diagnostic begins. You're pulling unit economics. We're calculating LTV to CAC and running the multiple gates. We're mapping the funnel from lead to close. This diagnostic takes 4 to 6 weeks to complete properly, but it's running while the COGS pricing fix is already generating results. And simultaneously, the G&A quick wins start. Maybe it's an owner's comp adjustment. Maybe it's finding those softwares that we didn't cut and nobody uses anymore. Maybe if we need to do different subscriptions or we need to find a cheaper product that does the same thing as 5 of those softwares that we currently have. Maybe we need to make the office optimization decision. Go remote, downsize, renegotiate. These are month 1 actions that don't require the full G&A diagnostic to execute. They're obvious, they're immediate, and they free up cash while the deeper analysis runs. That's the 3 tracks running from day 1, not 3 sequential projects spanning 2 years. Now, let's extend the timeline. Months 1 through 6 is where the heaviest lifting happens and where the parallel model creates the most distance from a sequential approach. The COGS pricing increase is the primary driver. Revenue is growing, typically 30 to 70% from the pricing fix alone, depending on how underpriced you were. This revenue growth is not theoretical. The viewer who's been in this series since the COGS arc has seen the math. It's coming from real pricing adjustments validated by your close rate data. While revenue is growing and sales and marketing diagnostics are wrapping up, usually around month 2, now optimization begins. Cutting inefficient channels, improving funnel metrics, getting unit economics to the point where the 2 gates are green. But here's what's different about doing this in parallel. The sales and marketing team is optimizing against a growing revenue base, not a flat one. Every efficiency gain lands harder because the denominator is already moving. Additionally, maybe the sales and marketing team didn't ever actually have the accountability necessary to ensure that we were hitting targets. So it's all about ensuring that we set clear expectations with the sales and marketing team so they know what metrics to hit. We might have had a couple before, like close rate, making sure that we had a no-show rate viewed and watched. It might have been that we knew how many booked calls we needed, but they weren't really efficient and or effective. Maybe we weren't watching sales qualified leads versus marketing qualified leads. There's a lot here. At the same time, G&A phase 1 runs this big 3 cuts: owner's comp down to market rate, office optimization, and admin consolidation, with automation in place first. These generate immediate cash savings, and a portion of those savings, we've seen $250,000 being a typical number, it's reinvested directly into the sales and marketing engine. It's already running well. So by month 6, you don't have a partial fix. You have 3 tracks that have each completed their first phase, and every track starts to accelerate the others. Months 7 through 12, COGS moves to phase 2. Labor optimization, team composition, sales and marketing optimization deepen. We cut the channels that aren't performing, improve the metrics that are, and the G&A phase 2 runs. Tech audit, professional services reductions, and the G&A growth effect starts to kick in because revenue growth from the pricing fix and the sales and marketing efficiency is already shrinking G&A as a percentage without cutting another dollar. Again, with the sales and marketing side of things, we may actually in this phase start to find that we can't hire salespeople people fast enough, and our training becomes the biggest bottleneck in the business. Because sometimes training stops us from being able to hire 3 to 5 people in a 2-month period and get them ramped up. And if your customer acquisition cost is $20,000 to $30,000 plus a $40,000 spend per person, we have a diminishing rate of return on those people, and our close rate will shrink as an aggregate. There's a lot of different things that come into play here, but thing to note is different things will start to come to light as this all starts to move positive. And this is the phase where the compound effects becomes visible in the numbers. Revenue growth from the COGS pricing fix is now fully baked in. The sales and marketing optimization is tightening the funnel, and the G&A percentage is dropping from 2 directions at once. Absolute cuts reducing the numerator, and revenue growth increasing our revenue, obviously. A founder running these tracks in sequence would just start their sales and marketing diagnostic at month 7. In the parallel model, sales and marketing is already past the diagnostic phase and into optimization. Month 13 through 24, COGS moves to phase 3, systems and process optimization. Sales and marketing is at or near 15% through efficiencies. General and administrative is fine-tuning, stabilizing, and adding back infrastructure where you cut too deep. It happens. The system is approaching 60-15-15. Look at this timeline. At no point is any track waiting for another track to finish. Month 1 has 3 actions running. Month 6 has 3 optimization phases running. Month 12 has 3 tracks converging. That's why the system reaches 60-15-15 in 18 to 24 months instead of 36 or more. You're not running 3 projects, running one system with 3 parallel tracks. Pull up your own timeline. If you've been fixing one number at a time, finish pricing, then start working on your funnel. Then deal with overhead. You're leaving 12 to 18 months of compounding on the table. The system is designed to run in parallel. The speed comes from the overlap, not from working faster on one thing. Diagnose like a doctor. One thing at a time, in the right order. Execute like a CEO. Everything that can move starts moving at the same time. That's how the system actually runs. But running 3 fixed plans in parallel creates a problem that most founders don't see coming. When you raise prices, you might lose a few customers, and suddenly your sales and marketing cost per acquisition goes up. When you cut G&A and reinvest in marketing, your sales and marketing percentage goes up temporarily, not down. When you insource contractors, COGS might increase before efficiency gains kick in. The numbers move in unexpected directions, and most founders, they honestly panic. The next video shows you exactly why that happens, which direction each number should be trending, and why the temporary worsening is actually the system working. If you want us to build this execution timeline for your business, all 3 tracks mapped, all 3 fixed plans in motion, links in the description, 15 spots a month for free. Are you running your fixed plans in sequence or in parallel? Drop it in the comment.